So we are back to Mystic Sensation. Mighty God. Please remember to like and share the video, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into the audio, yes? Let us get into the audio here.
Of the covenant. And I'm going to encourage every voter to take up their Bible and read the story of Ahab and Jezebel. I yield the floor to somebody else. I have nothing more to say regarding to Holness and Juliet Holness.
All right.
Read the story of Ahab and Jezebel.
All right, Pastor Ricky, what's the ride?
That is
You have heard
funny,
and might
honey.
be a witness that Andrew Holness
That's
signed the
funny.
code of conduct. Andrew
Oh
Holness
my God,
Secretary
that is
Declaration certified.
funny.
Now in this one, Pastor Ricky and Marino, Daisy Magazine. And I had to put them together because it was, it was like he gave her the baton and she was running to the finishing line. So listen to this. Listen to this.
Might be a witness that he took disciplinary action against Roy Reid, that ran for Grace McLean. And might be you also have witnessed that he improved the corruption index from 44 to 60. Tell me how you feel about these items.
Those are wishful thinking, and God bless you. Dream on. Listen, man, this is the most pathetic, diabolical, satanic, demonic prime minister in the history of Jamaica. For him to go on a platform and say, my Christian brothers and sisters, the prime minister is not a Christian. Let me say it again, as a licensed ordained pastor, a licensed ordained chaplain, someone who's been in ministry for so long now. The prime minister is not a Christian. Jesus says, by their fruits, you should know them. So we can make righteous judgment based upon a person's character by their fruits. And we know what the fruit of the Spirit is in Galatians chapter 5 from verse 22. But let me just say this. He refused to sign the Nolan Principle as it relates to the Code of Conduct for Leadership, that the Integrity Commission, they requested a course. The Integrity Commission administered the course, and at the end of the course, the People's National Party members, including Comrade Leader Mark Golden, all signed the Leadership Code of Conduct. This criminal, because he knows he's going to incriminate himself, he was dirty before he came into politics.
Definitely.
In 2007, the Prime Minister gave government contracts to one of his cronies, Robert Garvin, who gave him kickbacks money in return, which the DCP let him off, which she should not have done. She colluded with the corrupt DPP. We can go into 2008, the following year. His former lawyer started SSL ADMAT in St. Lucia with an SSL bank account set up for him to get money from SSL, which we have proof of that, which he never declared on his statutory declarations, which he falsified his statute. And let me just say this, because I know time is against us, but Sir Byron did an awesome job, and I talked about this a couple of times before. When you re-examine his statutory declarations from 2018, 2019, and 2020, those 3 years, the Integrity Commission was not filled to capacity as it relates to staff. They were understaffed. So those 3 years, they gave the Prime Minister and Comrade Leader Mark Golden face value. But after they got staff, in other words, they took their words for what they submitted on their declarations. But after they got caught up fully staffed, moving forward from 2021 to 2022, 2023, and now 2024 statute declaration that was due March of this year, 31st. The Prime Minister has these years, almost 4 years of uncertified declarations. And when Sir Byron revisit 2018, 2019, and 2020, he identified that the Prime Minister, those 3 years should never been certified, because the Prime Minister lied on all 3 of those years. Plus, he lied on the rest of the years. So technically, if we should take 2018 to 2020 statutory declarations, he lied on those, and then from 21 to 24. So for 7 years, in beat Dalrymple lied on 6 years of statutory declaration by falsifying those declarations. So how could you be a standard bearer for the country, yet you cannot tell the truth? The Prime Minister is a pathological liar. The Prime Minister is the father of lies and the father of deception in the Jamaica space. The
Pathological
Prime Minister
manipulation.
misled the Integrity Commission 7 years straight and lied on his statutory declarations and have the nerves now to take the IC to court to force the judge, to force the IC to certify his declaration and the judge rejected.
Embarrassing.
You cannot be a standard bearer. The 7 Nolan principles that of good governance, integrity, accountability, transparency, honesty, objective, openness, and leadership. He lacks on every one of those grounds. He's a colossal failure. The Prime Minister is going to be the first Prime Minister to go to prison. I mean, I don't care when put Dennis Chung in the space. Dennis Chung cannot save him. The Prime Minister must understand that, last point, the International Forensic Financial Auditor has the dirt on the Prime Minister. And that's why I hear Big Mama them a scream like a pig. I try to get them hands on it. No matter what Dennis Strong say, is it a forensic financial crimes of the Prime Minister that the IC so very brilliantly withhold and hold on to it? That I got sinking because guess what? Last point, the International Forensic Auditor, they have a group of financial auditor, Edmondson, a conglomerate group of financial cyber crimes, financial crimes, and they all speak. So whether the Prime Minister crimes, financial crimes are not limited to Jamaica, this has gone all over the world, overseas, international. So him gonna go to prison, and we know that. So me not care who want vex when me talk. The Prime Minister is a criminal and is unfit to be Prime Minister, and he should not have the reins of government, and he's no standard bearer, and furthermore, he's no Christian. Back over there.
All right, you hear what Pastor Ricky said? Right? Hit him with the hammer and sledge, Pastor Ricky.
So, on the hear what Pastor Ricky say. And can you tell that Pastor Ricky feels very strongly towards Andrew Holness? Well, to be honest with you, any man of God or any man of integrity that views an individual in the light that the pastor views Andrew, and many of us, you don't have any liking or any, you shun the evil. You know? That's what you're supposed to do. You don't shake the evil's hand, you don't friend up the evil. You disassociate yourself with people like that. You understand? They're dangerous. Let's continue. Let's hear Daisy.
No, Sister Maria. No, as we move, as it relates to what Andrew Holness said, that is the standard bearer and have hold up the standard of the country. I don't know if you have witnessed that this Prime Minister Andrew Holness signed the code of conduct, statutory declaration certifying, and he took disciplinary action against Rural Reid, Dal Rimper, Grace McLean, Tressa, and finally improved the corruption index from 44 to 60. I don't know. Go ahead, Sister Maria, hit him.
You know, Andrew Holness is so diabolical. Sometimes you don't even know. You know, every time he speaks, when you think he cannot go any lower, he surprises you and he goes even lower. Because any further low he goes is the grave. It is interesting how now he abhors that which he trafficked in when he was in opposition, because he was all about popularity. So much so, he used Clark's shoes to roll up his pants foot and walk barefooted through mud and water.
You see, this is why I love Daisy, you know, Miss Anne-Marie, you know. Miss Anne-Marie is one of my favorite people on these platforms. I'm telling you. She drop it, brother. The audacity of Andrew to try and, you know, lambast and criticize. In bad mind, Mark Bolin for popularity now, you know. And it's acting as if he did not win his election in 2016 on popularity. The Clark shoes, the music, government badness and Holness, all of it that he used to win the election. How did you think he garnered support from the young people? How you think Andrew Holness garnered? That's what even his wife play a role. Because she, when I put up Clark shoes, pan bike and man I rub it off. The images are all over the internet. right? They use popularity. They use the music. They use the culture. They use the slang, right? Remove this degenerate from off of my platform, right? He used all of those things to win the election. Remember Radam, him take Radam. Him use even the Rasta brethren, anybody that had any clout. Andrew Holness was the biggest clout chaser in his election run. He used the same media us that he wants to know silence him and him government. They would wish nothing more that we did not have the right and freedom to speak our minds about what we see going on in the country. They would have nothing more but to silence us. You understand? Me have hiccup, me still a grow. Sorry. Can't miss me still a grow. I get taller. Right? Daisy is absolutely right, man. Take off shoes and a walk across water barefoot. Him do everything to seem like he is one of us. I come from 1 bedroom Cumberland Road. No, I come from 2 bedroom Cumberland Road. My father was a farmer, my mother was a... He did everything to let the people connect with him. I feel like they can connect with him. And it worked. The people said, boy, him young. He come from humble beginnings. He look like he understand our plight. Even I said it. Even I was like, say, I want them to win because the people of the country, them see the PMP and they feel like the PMP do enough. And them have things against the PMP, which me I say, alright, hey, alright, cool, me understand. So make we see if him a go do the right thing. What go on run is, yeah, actually I say, yeah man, him young, make we see if him a go do the right thing. Cause I never know nothing about him. Some of the things when Andrew Holness when I say, yo, a real thing, If him man do that, so we are going to one good space. And the man don't do none of it. The man take a total 180. The man tell me, say, man going in this direction. And the man reverse it. The man reversed the order of good governance and went in the direction that he was chastising the government, the previous governments on. And he wants us to continue to support him while he's doing the same thing he was criticizing the PMP of. And even worse, him take it to another level. The nepotism, the cronyism, the skullduggery, the corruption. His party has outdone every other party in the history of Jamaica. Scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal. Some of them all personal scandal, who are sleep with who and who are who for blur not matey and all of these things. They have done it all. This government is an absolute disgrace. None among them can hold up them head and say, I am an individual of integrity. None of them. They are all marred in allegations of corruption and even worse, high levels of criminal activity. Them name marred, Their name keep coming up. One man I speak I house, film gun did missing. That the story that does sound crazy. Right? But them call him dog past father-in-law. So them call him. Like, bro, what are we doing? Like, them people are not ready. Them not ready, brother.
Just give the impression to the people that he's one of them, he's with them, when all he was doing was tricking them, lying to them, just to get their votes. So he can throw on poison on them. His words, not mine. Okay? And when he says he's the standard bearer, was he the standard bearer when he was up at the university talking to those young people, and the young man asked him about the NIDS, and he got angry. Was he the standard bearer then? Was he the standard bearer when he talked about, you little boys, you're going to get 15 years? Was he the standard bearer then? Was he the standard bearer when he said, we don't want to kill you? Was he the standard? We are talking about people's children. And no one is endorsing criminal behavior. And we agree that the police must go after criminals. But if you're not going after Andrew and the Holness and his administration, then what you're doing is, quite frankly, null and void. Because they, in my opinion, Jamaica is a high crime society because the people are learning from the top. When you can have a prime minister whose statutory declarations, which broken down simply means his salary could not give him what he has, period. That's what it means. So it means statutory declarations, that is the technical term for what it is. For your pay and where you have door match up. Simple as that. This 4 years, and like Pastor Ricky just broke it down, is more than 4 years running, because clearly he lied on the previous one, because you could not certify him in 17, 18, 19, and then after that, no, he can't be certified. So clearly he has been lying since then. And if you want to fully understand the MO of this prime minister, you have to go back to the Ministry of Education. And do you realize that the Ministry of Education has been a feeding tree for corrupt people? And who is suffering? The children. And in the Auditor General's report last December, she talked about how much billions of dollars are unaccounted for in the Ministry of Education. And you can see that it is unaccounted for in the Ministry of Education because the schools are broken. The teachers are not being paid properly. You know,
why may I tell you, said Daisy just broke it down so well. The money, the legal money that Andrew Holness earned cannot explain what he has acquired. It doesn't add up. That's what they mean when they say his statutory declaration cannot be certified. Andrew Holness should not be on the ballot. Christopher Tufton should not be on the ballot. Darrell Var should not be on the ballot. A litany of them in that party should not be on the ballot. Dalrymple should not be on the ballot. The white, when him, something on the right, the one who lick him appear for lick him wife, or him spouse at the time with a chair, he should not be on the ballot. Shouldn't be on the ballot. The other 9 people that is under investigation should not be on the ballot, whoever they are. Do you think that they would have the integrity to remove themselves? No. Because they are hungry for power. They don't care. Right? James Robertson should not be on the ballot. Montague up on the ballot? Montague Arena St. Mary? After the used car incident? Should not be on the ballot. Norman Dunn should not be on the ballot. Norman Dunn have an empty building and is getting paid hundreds and thousands of dollars from the government that is already being paid as a member of parliament for. Millions of dollars a year. The 200 and... Uno see how the... Uno realize the choppings. What one? Uno forget about the empty building where they're on Natta Bay, when Norman Dunn own. But the roads them in Natta Bay and everything. The situation there, the gutters not clean, all type of thing. Disgusting. Right? They should not be on the ballot. And you know, Andre said last night, Andre Stevenson said last night that we have an assignment. Let us write down. People, please go for your IDs, your voter IDs. Sassy said, please go for your voter IDs. Alright? We have an assignment. Write down the good things them that the JLP has done in its 9 years. Mommy, You start write down the good things them what JLP doing in 9 years. You don't remember nothing good them do. You remember bad thing them do. Oh my God. Mighty God of Daniel. And that is a good way to assess a party, you know. Write down the good things them. It's the pros and the cons, you know. Write down the good things them. Write down the good. But I'm going to come back to that. Hold on.
Like Ratigan talked about earlier. Okay, so you have the school bus you're going to take the children to school, to drop them off at school. Is this physical school conducive to learning? Is that a learning environment? So you drop them off at school in a big cheese bus, then what? You think you would fix the schools first and then show some interest, show that you really mean well. But when I hear the Prime Minister talk about, being the standard bearer, the man is just calling words and people hear him and, he's at this big quote unquote gospel concert and he's so penitent. How convenient. I heard him the other day say, I am your humble servant. Since when? Since when you're a humble servant? Because if we are to use the yardstick that he used to measure Richard Hazan, when Richard Hazan built 6 stalls to benefit vendors in Spalding Market, and he said it was a dark day, why has he not used that same measuring stick to measure himself, know that his statutory declarations cannot be certified, will never be certified, because he knows he's not going to show where the bodies are buried? And I have a question for
Embarrassing. He needs some milk.
Listen, Daisy, Miss Anne Marie, I'm not going to just brush over the point that you just made. And all of the labor rights, them need to hear this. The truth is not an offense. It's here to liberate you and free you. I want you to go back to when Andrew Holness said that is a dark day in Jamaica when Richard Hazan cut corners. You notice how I'm framing it. I am not pretty nothing, Richard Hazan cut corners to build some shops in our market for some poor people in our constituency, so them can earn a living. That is exactly what happened. He didn't apologize for it. He never say him never do it. He never lie about it. He said, yes, I did it and I would do it again. Well, I don't know if him say would I do it again, but him say yes, he would I do it. Him do it. Alright? Him say he did it. No. Andrew Holness refused to sit in parliament with Richard Hazan, or he said he refused to sit in parliament with Richard Hazan. Then if Andrew is so vehemently upset about that, it says then that he's of some level of integrity. You wouldn't think that the same Andrew Holness would bring back Dalrymple. You wouldn't think that the same Andrew Holness is now bringing back Bobby Montague. The used police car scandal. The police cars that when they reach Jamaica. How does Andrew Holness sit beside Bobby Montague but him don't sit beside Richard Hazan? Or him sit beside Andrew Wheatley, but him not sit beside Richard Hazan? Or him sit beside Dalrymple, but him not sit beside Richard Hazan? Wanna make it make sense, no man? Or him sit beside James Robertson, but him sit beside Richard Hazan? With all of the allegations against James Robertson. Right? The fact that him can't go to the United States because him don't have a visa. Go look up why him not have a visa. Oh, Andrew sit down beside, literally sit down beside James Robertson at a gospel concert. What can go so? Furthermore, oh, Andrew Holness look himself in the mirror. How him look himself in the mirror? With these statutory declaration situation. Charity money being used, and then we're hearing, oh, it's not a charity. But people donate to it. Why are they donating to it? Only can form an own conclusion with that charity or not, based off of the modus of operandi of the organization. But money was taken from there to invest in other things. Money where people donate, you know. And that the Integrity Commission report say, you know what I realize? The Labour right them don't read the report. And that me realize. The Labour right them don't read the report. A lot of you guys don't read the report. Because it's beyond me how Holness had that stance. Right? But yesterday sits beside so many questionable people in his party. As a matter of fact, Holness at that standard not wanting to sit beside Richard Hassan. How does Andrew have a gag order on the government so we cannot know who is the next 9 smaddy we're under investigation? What can go so? What can go so? As a person that was lambasting and criticizing Richard Hassan for what he did, Andrew Holness supposed to expose everybody in a parliament, right, that is doing wrongdoings. He's not supposed to put in out a gag order. How is that possible? Why is he not holding himself to the standards that he was holding Richard Hassan to? Well, that was an excellent comparison by Daisy, Miss Anne-Marie. That's why I love listening now. But we are taking it a step further. We are expound upon what you say. Andrew Holness is no standard bearer of no integrity, no good governance, none of that. He's a standard bearer of skullduggery, gag order, hiding things, not being open and transparent, not complying with the Integrity Commission. He's a standard bearer of trying to remove impeachment from the constitutional reform. Oh, by the way, about the constitutional reform, I am going to try my best to read through the last report from the constitutional reform body, because it was mentioned by Daisy and Mr. Will Rattigan in this said video that we the Jamaican people need to look deeper at that so we understand the government that we're dealing with. Remember, I said they proposed to take out impeachment, you know. Remember, you know, what kind of government wants to take out impeachment? The one thing that holds government officials accountable. What kind of government does that? If you are a clean government, if you don't have anything to worry about, why would you want to remove impeachment? You guys remember when Andrew Holness said, leave the Integrity Commission alone, let them do their job, nobody interfere with them, and that includes who? The opposition. So why am I them got caught? Why did he try to force the judge to certify his statutory declaration? Something that the judge was incapable of doing. Why did he want the judge to denounce the report and make the report null and void? It makes him look like he's hiding something, doesn't it? Think about it. Think about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, alright? Big up Daisy.